Thank you. Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Don't touch that remote. We got a great show here. We got something different. We have a newspaper reporter who covers for the Norristown Times-Herald, but he lives in Norristown, and he covers the stories here in Norristown and Montgomery County and international, whatever. But it's very unique to have a newspaper guy work right in the same town that he lives in, and you know, like the big city, they have most of your, I say some of your reporters live in the suburbs, see? So now we have somebody that knows what's going on. So when I asked him a question about Norristown, he's going to have a good answer for me. I know. He's not a stranger. He's married, you know, bringing up a family here in Norristown. So I want you to meet him. His name is Oscar Gamble. Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show.
Thanks, Hank. Thanks for
having me. All right, now don't forget I have hearing aids here. You got to talk loud.
I'll talk up.
Okay. Now, everybody wants to know what's behind the pen. You are a newspaper man.
That's right.
All right. But they don't know what you look like. They don't know what you sound like. So now we're exposing you. Come on. Well, tell me something about yourself.
Increasingly, it's not just, they're just not seeing what I write because I'm on Twitter. You can also see my face pops up on the website when you look at the website for the Times-Herald.
You do?
So some people do recognize me.
You know how to do it?
Oh, yeah, a lot. I do a lot.
Is there any numbers you can put out there to people to know, or we put on the screen?
My Twitter account is ogamble_th.
Okay.
At ogamble_th, I should say.
And what do you do when you talk about that? What do you talk about?
So there's a lot of times where I'm at news that's breaking. So I want people to know what's going on as it's happening. So I'll tweet something out that'll tease to a story that I'll write later.
Yeah, and you cover right now the hottest thing right now is that I guess the strike.
The Methacton School District strike.
Tell me something about that. You're covering it like the dew.
Yeah, I am. Well, that's a great thing about being a newspaper journalist, because I think I can add some flavor and some context and some deep reporting that you don't get on a 5-minute television or 5-minute radio. Yeah, I can do a long form. So I've been interviewing both the school board and the union involved, and learning about the ins and outs of the contract dispute and how far they are away from each other. In fact, last night I was at a school board meeting until almost 11 o'clock.
Wow.
And I had to write a story on that. And they seem like they're getting closer, but it's...
Does anybody give them any food, maybe? Because they don't need, they get hungry, they get mad.
That would have been a good idea. Maybe it would have been a lot less tension in the room. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
So yeah, so it's stuff like that where I can really get into the meat of a story. And you know, I've gotten a lot of feedback about my writing, and a lot of people on both sides appreciate that I'm able to give the good context. Yeah.
Well, you have to be fair. You know, there's on the national news you find out fake news and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I can always say that the Times-Herald's been very, you know, I've subscribe in the Times-Herald. Never since I don't remember. My mom and pop way back, even my father, he couldn't read. My mother used to read it to him, you know, so the Times-Herald. But the Times-Herald's having, all newspapers are having their problems today, you know. And so what do you think? What's your feeling now? You know, you're a newspaper guy. Is your future, you know, you say, well, what's coming up front if the thing's dying?
I mean, I love being a journalist. I don't know if I would always stay in newspapers, but I think the newspapers are still valuable and they're still vital.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a type of journalism and a type of in-depth storytelling that I don't think you quite get anywhere else still, and I think it's still a viable form of information for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking before the show we were talking. I said to John Doyle, I said that maybe I like to get you and you're a newspaper man, and I've been around Norristown almost all my life. I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Norristown. And we'd like to talk something like Norristown. What did I say? What we would call the show?
Oh, I forget what you said, but it's like a man on the street type of thing.
Yeah, man on the street. Yeah. And I was thinking maybe we could get a cameraman, you and I on the street, and then interview different people. We get the feeling of the people, the feeling of the community, and feel that they have great ideas. Now, I'll jump to another thing that the chief of police just come out with new. Tell me something about what that plan. He has a plan because Norristown has an image or perception of the shootings and also. So he come out with this plan, and you know a little bit about it, right?
I know a little bit about it, and I hope to talk to the chief soon, Chief Mark Talbot, Sr., and talk to him a little bit more about the 40-point plan that he has for reducing gun violence in Norristown. It has a lot to do with the town's perceptions. Crime has generally been down over the last few years, which has made Norristown in a better light, I think, in a lot of people's eyes. But when you have that spate of gun violence that we've had, especially this following year, that kind of tarnishes it. So the chief I commend him for being on top of it, for addressing it comprehensively, and hopefully that we can get a hold on this thing and stop the violence.
Well, I hope it is because we're the county seat, and we should be someplace you want to be. You want to be there. In fact, I think it's the motto. Someplace you should be. Mm-hmm. So that's a great thing. Now, tell me something about you, your wife. You had a little bambina, huh?
Well, not yet. We're expecting, which is
What's your wife's
exciting.
name?
My wife is Laura Gamble. She's an architect with Barton Partners right here in Norristown.
See, everything's Norristown, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So, and tell me about your education now. Where did you play high school? Did you play any kind of sport or anything?
Oh, yeah. I was a football and basketball player for Upper Marion. So there's
Lower Marion?
Upper Marion.
Oh, Upper Marion.
Crosstown rivals,
Oh, that's right.
So I'm
Upper
Norristown
Marion, yeah.
now. But yeah, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and then I moved to Upper Marion for high school, Gulf Mills area, Rebel Hill. And then I went to the University of Pittsburgh, where I studied journalism, and then I also worked.
Is that in the city of Pittsburgh, or is it one outside?
No, the city, the main campus, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I think my grandson, Anthony, who was a policeman in West Norton, Anthony Morano, I think he went to the University of Pittsburgh, but I think it's a branch or
Satellite campus. They have a lot of campuses, like Penn
Yeah,
State. Mhm.
yeah.
It's a big school, huge school.
Yeah, and I remember some of his friends went up to visit him, and they got stopped for speeding there. And the magistrate up there is, woo! They didn't want to hear nothing. They didn't even answer the phone.
Wow.
So, but yeah, a little tough up there.
Yeah, I like that. I like my time up there. I got my degree finally from Cheney University, which is right here, back east, part of the.
Out here in Montgomery County?
I think it's Delaware County, Cheney University.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, police, we have our police department. We have around 50, 60 police officers. I think it's around 62 police officers, something like that.
In the mid-60s range, yes.
Yeah, and we're looking out for safety. And the only thing that bothers me, I think that Norristown, the streets are not as clean as they should be. Now, somebody needs to twist somebody's arm to get somebody out there and do it, and like I said, if whoever's in charge of it, I'm making a complaint. Do something about it, So I think because the first thing coming through Norristown is see all trash bags and all, it's not good. So if somebody wants to open a business, he wants to move in town. But I think when we go on this tour in Norristown area, and get the feeling of the people, and then we'll come up with good ideas. I think. What are some of the things that you live in Norristown? You're a reporter. You cover accidents, death, floods, fires, everything, right?
Everything, yes. So
you're the top man now. You're gonna. What kind of changes would you make, or what would you add, or who would you fire? You're gonna be like Trump. Fire him.
Definitely not going to say who I would fire.
No, you don't work. Out.
But I will say this. I think that you were talking about clean streets. That's just one of the issues. We have clean streets. We have, there's still some crime issues in Norristown. There's some things I think can be addressed not only by the city government, but by people getting more engaged. And that's why I think something you said, like the man on the street, that would come in good. Because we don't typically get the back and forth when we're just writing a story. We need to engage with the public more like you do on social media. But even then, you don't get as much, as much involved with the people and their opinions as you could if you were more engaged.
All right, here's what we got a question from the audience up there, that lady with that blue dress up there. Here's one question for her. How has the paper changed over your career since the time you took this job?
I've only been there less than 5 years.
5 years.
But when I started, we had a newsroom of 10 people. Now there's less than half of that. I think there's 5 people now. There was more than 10 when I first started. Of course, the Times Herald building, which is an iconic building down on Markley Street, we no longer occupy that building, so I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work from home.
You work out of your house?
Mostly I work out of my house. Well, I'm in the field a lot, like at the Methacton School Board meeting. I went to a fire yesterday, that sort of thing. But yeah, largely I work from home. I also do content management. So instead of just being a reporter on the street, I also edit the paper. So what you see on Sunday and Monday a lot of times will be headlines that I've written or papers that I've put together in some way, the layout for.
All right, we got another question from the audience. The guy over there on the right-hand side. You read it out loud.
What are your most important stories from the past?
All right.
Well, that's hard to say because I started off as a crime writer. So my most important stories would be reporting on some of the biggest crimes that happened. I remember a mass shooting. A guy just got convicted yesterday of a shooting in Norristown.
Another shooting?
Well, this was a year ago, but he just got convicted. Yeah, for killing 2 people in Norristown. And I remember doing that story, and it got a lot of hits on Twitter and Facebook and our website because people are interested in that sort of thing, especially when it's happening in their backyard. But I think the most important, to me, the most important are the most rewarding or the most engaging with the community. So your guest last week, Jack Chung, he belonged to a group that had a project, a sewer project in Plymouth Meeting. And they were supposed to be reimbursed by the township, and it wasn't happening. So I was able to write a story that soon after my story was published, they settled with the township. So that's the most kind of rewarding, engaging type of work that I do.
I remember because he called me and I said, I'll touch base with Oscar and you there. But, you know, it's almost like when I was a policeman. If I did something that helped somebody, I feel good about it. You know, if you're a writer and you help somebody, you know, be successful or with a business, whatever it is, you know, it's good. And that's what your job's all about, you know, is helping people, informing people.
Keeping people informed, and especially as a crime writer, whenever there's someone that committed a crime that's at large and I write about it and they catch them, that makes me feel really good.
All right, now, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Where do you come up with a story? Here's the question from that lady with the green dress up there.
Where do story ideas come from?
Repeat that.
Where do story ideas come from? They come from everywhere. But they come from readers. They come from just being observant. You can't have your head in the sand in this business. So something's going on at the zoo, you know.
The zoo.
Or something's going on downtown. You know, we keep our nose to the grindstone, so to speak, our ear to the curb.
Do you have a police radio or something? You know something's going on, you shoot to it?
I do. I had a police scanner when I was at the Times Herald building.
Yeah.
And and then when we moved from the building, I actually had the honor, I guess you could say, of taking it home with me.
Oh, yeah.
So occasionally I will hear, and I have an alerts on my phone. I have special alert apps on my phone. So I will hear and find out about fires, shootings, crime, somebody getting airlifted for some injury. I'll hear that a lot of times before a lot of people do, and I'll be able to get to the story and report on it.
Well, sometimes you get right to an accident where somebody's beat up, cut up, or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen some things that could be considered disturbing. My first story ever for the Times Herald was a fatal car accident, actually. One of my first stories ever. So that part can be a little harrowing, and it's it's maybe not the most pleasant.
How about the drug bit? You bump into anything like that? Well, like you're interviewing somebody and you notice the guy's acting a little, he's 4 points off the Chinese Navy. And I go, you know, what do you do?
That rarely happens. It has happened, and usually,
You gotta know something about people, how people react.
And you know what? I try to do my best not to embarrass folks. You know what I mean? If you're not at your best, I don't want that reflected in the story.
You don't go, woo-hoo, you don't go,
No,
nice and easy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I asked you some interesting stories. When I was a rookie police officer in Norristown, I think I was on the job maybe, I don't know. I started in November, and in around 3 or 4 weeks before the 4th of July, this man up on Sandy Street had a firework factory. He was making fireworks, and what happened? But the thing blew up. And I had no training whatsoever. They just give me a gun and a badge and sent me out in the street. And I got there, and next thing you know, I'm with the sergeant, and we drop there. Oh my God, here's parts of the body over here, I never saw dead people. The only dead people I saw before I became a policeman was in the funeral parlor, and he was, like all dressed up and nice and everything. And over here, so that was that. And then another was the Hurricane Hazel and Hurricane Carol, and the waters were flooded all over in Norristown East End before they built the dam. Like down in Main and Arch Street used to be flooded out. Markley Street, every once in a while it still gets hit, but we got hit hard with that floods. So there were things that people without electric, without a lot of things. See, so I pray every night for the people that are suffering down there in Texas and Florida and Louisiana. Now you got these islands, Puerto Rico. It's unbelievable what's going on. I was watching TV this morning, and the president or whoever the top leader in Puerto Rico, he says, evacuate, get out, or die. I mean, oh my God. So how do you get out?
It's horrible. Yeah.
Planes, so God bless the people down there. Now, what school did you say you went to?
I went to Upper Marion High School.
Oh, Upper Marion, and you played football.
I played football and basketball. Yeah.
And so, what inspired you to want to be a newspaper man? Why didn't you want to be a dentist or a doctor or something?
I think
what gave you that?
I always had a knack for writing. I think I always got good grades in English, and
sorry.
and I was also naturally inquisitive to a certain extent. So I think those two things combined to make me gear me towards journalism.
I got some more questions from the audience. This one lady there with binoculars. You don't need binoculars. Come on. What challenges are there in the local reporting? What are your challenges?
Challenges in local reporting. Basically, the downsizing of the paper in general, of journalists, of our avenues to get the word out about our stories, because the paper is smaller. We don't have that many outlets as a local community, and we're cluster wide. So we also work with Lansdale, Pottstown, surrounding the Mercury.
Cover it all, right?
Yeah. So the papers. So that can be a little challenging. Also, in Norristown especially. Besides doing crime reporting, you have to get people engaged. You have to get people to talk, just like the police want people to report on crime.
Yeah.
And sometimes there can be a language barrier. There are all kinds of issues that happen in a small big town, which I consider Norristown to be, that are very interesting.
Well, if you want to get a story from somebody has to have faith in you. They're going to have to say, "Well, I trust you."
Right.
So that's one of the most important things. So how you react with people, I think, is important. I think you have a personality that you're not looking like a hard-hitting reporter or something like that. So you have to,
I take pride in it when people come to me for a story. Although not all the times I can help them. Not all the times their story is actually newsworthy or something I can help them out with. So it's a double-edged sword. But I really take pride in the fact that people do approach me personally, to try to get some. Yeah,
if somebody gives you a tip on something and you go to find out, then you have to be careful on how you approach them to get the information. And then they're going to say, "Where'd you get the information?" The same thing with a policeman. Somebody tips you off on something, you got to make sure that you don't louse it up.
Yeah, my editors sometimes frown on anonymous sources. We don't want to be accused of being fake news.
Yeah. Well, let me say this now. We are in Norristown High School, right? There's a lot of students behind the cameras, and a lot of people will be watching this show. And what advice would you give a student about journalism? And what would be the first thing? I just want, before you answer, I want to say, Gordon Glantz, who was a managing editor for Times Herald, he told me when he was small, he used to, whenever he asked his mother a question, he would write a note to her. He wouldn't talk, and that's how he loved to write. So go ahead. What would you advise students now? Start learning.
Yeah, definitely. Your language arts, your English. Be polished. Learn. Speak, write, talk properly. You have a whole bunch of people that will be criticizing every word you say or every word you write. So you want to make sure that that's all correct. You see the young people here that produce this show behind the camera. This is the kind of extracurricular activity that speaks volumes when you step into a college setting, because they'll be wanting people that have some kind of experience in some track of journalism before they even get there.
Yeah. I had dinner with your wife and your mother, too.
Yeah.
How's she doing, all right?
She's doing well, thank you.
All right. What did she do for a living before?
She was an English teacher.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, your mother was an English teacher.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't know that
couldn't
was
get away
in
with
the
bad
table.
grammar, yeah.
I wonder if she was correcting my English when I was talking. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you speak another language?
I don't.
No?
No, I wish I did, especially Spanish, because I have a lot of Spanish-speaking neighbors.
Yeah, I know a little bit my mother, a little bit, we used to speak a little bit in Italian, but I guess I wind up with all the curse words. I think everybody learns the curse words first, but I have enough just to get when I went to Italy, when I got there, and I was with 35 other people, and I was the only one that could, and every time that somebody would ask them to talk Italian, I was enough to pick it up. But by the 2 weeks I was there, I picked up a lot. I was able, that's why, in other words, it's practice, I guess. To use the
immersed
word,
in the language, yeah.
But you got to learn manja. That means
I know that.
eat. Don't. That's international.
I know that one.
Smile is an international word. Is that right? Behind the camera, smile. Ah! We got the greatest class, all new students here, and they all very, what shall I say, happy group when I come in here. So it's nice meeting a new generation, all right?
Very professional.
So, all right, now, what, you have any idea of any new businesses coming in or anything on the front burner in Norristown that they're coming to you with ideas or anything?
I'd say the two biggest things going on right now are the Lafayette Street extension, which is going to bring a lot of business into Norristown. It's going to add a turnpike interchange. So we've already seen 5 Saints Distillery. Diva's moving over to Main Street. I think that's just going to continue. We also have a new senior living center going in where the old hospital used to be, Montgomery Hospital.
Yeah.
So that's,
I saw that they're building the elevator. I think it's going to be 5 stories.
that's going to be huge. It's going to be affordable senior living, which is going to
Was
be
it going to
what
be
what
three
we need.
separate buildings?
I think so.
I think
they're,
it's
they're
3
starting
separate
one
buildings.
campus.
Yeah.
It's one campus, but 3 different buildings.
Is that going to be tax-free, I wonder?
You know what? I don't think it's tax.
I think maybe they hit a story over there. Let the people in Norristown know what is going to be tax-free and how do you apply.
Yeah, I've been reporting on the construction
I don't want to wait till
aspect
the
of it.
place is all and they're cleaning the windows. I want to know how you apply. Maybe we got people that want to move in.
Yeah, we'll definitely be following up on the construction of
Follow
that.
up on that. All right. Now, here's the guy with a brown jacket. What are you doing with a jacket on? It's warm in here. How has crime changed in Norristown since you've been here?
Crime-
And I'll tell you, since I was here.
Yeah, you would have much better perspective being a police officer for so many years. Only being here, only reporting on the crime 5 years, I have looked at trends though, and crime overall, in general, violent crime has been on a downward trajectory, especially in the last 3 or 4 years since Chief Talbot put his crime reduction strategy in place. However, like I said before, this has been a bad year as far as gun violence especially. I think what people, the average citizen in Norristown, because these are mostly targeted crimes that the average citizen doesn't have to worry about so much. What the average citizen has to worry so much is the quality of life crimes. Be vigilant in your communities. Make sure, you lock your car doors at night. I collect police reports all over town. I can tell you that by far the highest volume of police reports I get is people that got something stolen out of their car just because they didn't lock it. Simple stuff like that.
Well, how about, now we have a Hispanic community that's getting bigger and bigger, like St. Patrick's Church, St. Patrick's School. When I only lived a block away from St. Patrick's School, but it's an Irish church, and I couldn't go because I was Italian. I had to go past and go to Holy Savior, and so things change.
Yeah.
So what do you got now? You got an Italian pastor there that say, so things change. All right, now, you got 30 seconds. Tell me something about Norristown that you think, as a reporter and also as a resident of Norristown, what would you like to see happen?
I'd like to see the economic development really take hold.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. And I want to see more engagement with the community. You see a lot of people that you get a lot of complaints on Facebook, or a lot of a lot of turmoil on Twitter, so to speak.
Come up with good ideas.
But you don't see the city council meetings packed.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean? So if we could just translate that passion into actual action, I think that would be great for the town.
So, all right. Well, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to come in. But my little information would be, Norristown, keep it safe and keep it clean. And I'm telling you, we'll enjoy the county seat. So we have the Plymouth Market is going to have to move from up there on Johnson Highway and Markley. They're going to move down to Markley. They were going to move out of town, but they're going to stay in town down on Lafayette Street, the end of Lafayette and Markley. So, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet again, keep bobbing and weaving, left hand high, stick and move, and keep your trunks off the canvas. May God bless each and every one. Adios, amigo. You drank all your water.
Salud.
Salud. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again and again.